All right, Big, it's the rundown. It's Wednesday. It's February 1st. It's myself, Eddie. It's Stephen Cheah. It's Kirk-minihane, presented by the merch store. Get ready for the big day with the Barstool merch store. The Philly Fanatics, make sure to check out our official Jalen Hurts merch, hoodies, crew necks, t-shirts, all ready to be worn to support your quarterback. For KC fans looking to rep the red and yellow, we've got a huge selection at the Barstool store. There's just a ton of stuff over there. Go check it out. Store.barstool-sports.com. I'm sure there's a lot of Tom Brady merch, and we could obviously start there. Stephen Cheah, that's kind of why you're here. So re-retirement, we'll start with you. Sorry, or did you expect it? How we feeling? Tom Brady's dead.
Kind of expected. This is probably a more preferable ending than like signing with the Raiders or the Patriots, the Titans, or something like that. As a Bucs fan, I was actually talking to Doug's in the kitchen this morning. He described it pretty well because Brady actually retired last year. So like emotionally, I've already been through all that. This is just like kind of the finite. So he was saying like it's like your grandfather you thought died last year, and then they miraculously came back to life, but their quality of life wasn't that great, and they just recently died. It's like, yeah, well, Tom Brady's retired. The season this year was an abject failure from every angle and any way you can slice it, and I'm looking forward to a fresh start. But I'm also really grateful of the time that Tom Brady spent here. I mean, 3 years. For the most part, it was great. A Super Bowl, I would sign up for that. And, all the cap charges that come with it, that's going to impact our future 100 out of 100 times. So a great ride. And thank you to Tom Brady for letting me cover you from mainly afar.
Kirk, I feel like you're not going to be as nice. Like, how do you feel? You've covered this guy your whole career, basically.
Well, we interview them every week I think I had for like 6 years. We didn't get along that great. Some of it was my fault. Some of it was his fault. No, I mean, like I said, I said in the show today, you cannot make a list of the top 20 quarterbacks of all time and not have Tom Brady on it. Like, he has to be somewhere on that list. Like I said in my show today, like Donald Trump famously said, he likes his people not captured like McCain. I like my guys who don't lose Super Bowls, Give me Trent Dilfer, give me Brad Johnson, give me Jeff Hostetler, give me Eli Manning. I mean, Brady lost. Not a lot of guys have lost 3 Super Bowls. Brady's one of them, bottom line. Now the fun begins because the post-Brady career is going to be like Travolta, Cruz, bizarre, almost like Scientology with this weird Alex Guerrero stuff. These terrible movies. This Fox thing's going to be a disaster. He's going to stink on TV. It's going to be an absolute, total disaster, wipeout. His face is already falling off. I mean, he looks like Jane Fonda at this point anyway. I don't even know who is who when I see these clips in these movies. Forget it. Get ready now. Good quarterback, B+, A- career. The next 30, 40 years are going to be total train wreck.
Do you think Fox, and listen, like, who knows? We'll see how he does. But obviously, Greg Olson's like done a really good job, and there's already the debate: is he going to be on the crew 1, crew 2? Do you think Fox regrets that deal, since everyone at the time they were throwing bags to everyone, and they just got poached from Aikman and Buck, and then Amazon was taking people? Do you think that deal was, in hindsight, kind of insane? No.
Did you just ask me or Steve? Did you just ask one of us if Tom Brady is being paid $375 million to be the B crew on the football game? Do you think he's gonna? I think he's gonna. First of all, I think he's going to be part of the Super Bowl coverage. Fox has a Super Bowl this year. I agree. Olson's pretty good. The other guy's a drip, Burkhardt, but Olson's good. I think Brady, they're going to incorporate him somehow. I hope they don't have him. They have 90 guys already in that dumb pregame show. But like, they're paying him a fortune. They're not going to have him. I don't even know who the B. I don't think Brady's going to be doing the B game in Carolina at 1 o'clock.
What if he's Witten, Kirk? What if he's no good? Like,
I think that's what's going to happen. But he's so famous. Witten's not famous. Brady is so famous that they're going to have to figure it out one way or another. I think what they're going to do is they're going to stick him with Olson and Burkhardt. Now, and by the way, my prediction, I could be wrong. I think he's going to call the Super Bowl with those guys.
I would be surprised if that happens. I think that he will be fine, but they definitely overpaid. I mean, everyone overpaid. The fact that those guys are getting millions upon millions of dollars. I have, as a football fan of, obviously the Bucs and just the league in general, I've never tuned into a game to listen to an announcer, color commentary or play-by-play. It's just not part of what happens. If the game is good, I'm going to watch it. If the game is bad, I might not. So the fact that all these guys are getting a ton of money, Tom Brady struck when the iron was hot, and good for him. $375 million is a ton of money. And, obviously with his troublesome year with obviously the divorce and also the FTX stuff, he, just like anyone, could use that type of money. So I'm happy that he got it. If he's going to be good or not, there have been, Troy Aikman was a great quarterback and is a tremendous announcer or color guy. So hopefully Brady's on that trajectory as opposed to, other guys that didn't pan out quite as well.
It's really one of the few jobs where they pay them a shitload of money with having no idea if they'll be good or not. You pay Drew Brees a fortune. He stinks. You pay Witten a fortune. He stinks. You pay Romo a fortune, whether you like him or not. He created the buzz. Gruden, same thing. But there are 30 guys like this, whether it was, George Seifert over the years. Joe Montana was terrible. Jerry Rice was terrible. Lawrence Taylor was terrible. And it turns out, Greg Olson's pretty good. But, you're paying somebody $307. And I guarantee you, Fox never said to Tom Brady when they paid him that money, Tom, come in here for 3 hours and call a mock game with us so we can just see if you can do it. They had no idea, and they paid him almost $500 million. It's crazy. So, yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, I guess they could get creative and start doing some stuff like they're doing with Manning or McAfee, but even that, like, that's not
But Brady's not there. But Brady's also, like, McAfee and Manning, they kind of have an everyman quality that Brady is purposely stayed away from, whether in advertising or attitude. Like, I don't picture Brady kind of sitting around and bullshitting. And maybe he'll prove me wrong. The one place where I thought Brady was actually pretty good was that 30 for 30 with Woodson. I don't know if you guys saw that or not. I'm sure Steve, you saw it. He was pretty good when they broke down certain things. That was the one time where I was like, oh, like maybe I can see how this might work. I don't know. I don't know how, my prediction is he won't last the life of that contract. He'll bail out of it, I think.
I think that Tom Brady, you can just tell from his online persona, is pretty funny. And I know he doesn't run all of his own social media, but just the stuff that he says and just kind of the way I think that he is very much an everyman. I think that there's a high barrier to entry, so they're not dealing with the kirk-minihanes of the world every week. But I think for the guys that are his teammates and they know him, I think everyone has, for the most part, said that he is just like really cool, really down to earth and funny. And I think that translates to TV. So I think whatever he does and puts his full energy into, which I think he will with this broadcasting thing, I think he's going to be really good.
Yeah, well, we're going to find out quick, so we'll see. What do you mean, Kirk, where you had some not so pleasant interactions with him during Super Bowl week and whatnot?
Well, no. So in general, so the old show was on EI. We had Brady was a paid guest every week. We had him on Monday after games. And the few times we just thought about stuff. We thought about Alex Guerrero one time for about 40 minutes. Then he hung up on us a couple of times, but he's always been a very nice guy. It's just, I think he was used to, he didn't like being asked questions that he didn't like being asked. And so we had a few combative things, but overall, it was fine. Like I said, I think he's, he had a fine career again, he had a fine career. Good quarterback.
Yeah.
It was a good draft pick by the Patriots, I'd say. I mean, you hear Steven crying about him. It sounds like he played for the Bucs for 20 fucking years. They won a friggin' COVID Super Bowl and they had 2 washout seasons. Like, congratulations. But, I guess.
Thank you for the congratulations on the Super Bowl.
I played like 90 Super Bowls in New England. It's like he was never there. It's bizarre. It's weird.
Yeah, and you guys suck now, so.
Yes, yeah, I'll have to live with that horrible news, Steven. You are correct.
Found good value in the late rounds. Congratulations.
Not bad.
Next topic here. Sean Payton's going to the Broncos. Kirk, we'll start with you. Where are you at with sports now? Do you are you still like super into it? Or are you like, I don't give a shit anymore? Where are you at?
Sort of story reliant. Like, I don't like for this one, like I have an opinion like anything else. I just don't like, when did you guys know this way better than me? Like, when did it start becoming like completely acceptable? It's not my money. I don't care that Sean Payton is getting like $18 million a year to coach football. When did this happen? Like, what I felt like we just talked about with announcers. I feel like this just like exploded overnight, and I missed maybe it's because Belichick's salary has never been known, but like, when did this start? What was the first contract? It was like, holy shit, coaches are getting paid a fortune. Like this. I mean, this is crazy.
I think that, we look at the announcers and color commentators' salaries, and we can point to those are overblown. Those guys work a couple days a week. They watch film, they travel to the games, they interview the players and coaches, and they call the game and leave. Coaches, I think, very much deserve that type of money. I mean, these guys are working around the clock basically all year with, maybe a couple weeks off in February. But after that, these guys are nonstop. I think they deserve to get paid. That being said, Sean Payton, I think the guy's wildly overrated. Had one of the most talented rosters for almost 15 years, has one Super Bowl. One of the best quarterbacks to ever play, Drew Brees, one Super Bowl. Like, I don't know. It seems a little bit rich. And the reports are, they're obviously dueling reports between my guy Shefty and Ian Rappaport. Shefty reporting that the Broncos were always going to go in with Sean Payton, and then Ian Rappaport reporting that the Broncos furiously tried to get DeMeco Ryans yesterday before agreeing to terms with Payton and the Saints on this deal. Let's not forget, and I'm not throwing him under the bus or anything like that, but Shefty is he worked at the Denver newspaper and working with the Broncos. So he obviously has a lot of close relations there and is probably protecting his guys. So I tend to believe Rap Sheet on this just because he has no inherent bias on this. So the fact that the Broncos were probably trying to get DeMeco Ryans at no draft capital cost, probably a cheaper deal. I'm sure a cheaper deal and no compensation, I think speaks volumes to how much they want Sean Payton, but they're so pot committed with Russell Wilson. You have to do something.
Well, I don't think, I understand that Schefter worked for the Denver Post, and I agree he's bought and paid for it, but this idea that Rappaport is, first of all, he works for the league. Secondly, I'm sure he's protecting some agent or some general manager, somebody. Like the idea he's some wild maverick independent. Believe me, he's covering somebody too. Somebody's feeding him information as well.
Certainly. I just think that he is less likely to cover up a Broncos story than Schefter.
I guess. Yeah, I guess. And like I said, my thing on Sean Payton is the same thing. I don't know. All I know is he won one Super Bowl and he's getting paid a fortune. And maybe they need somebody, because I know the last guy was a disaster. But boy, it seems like, and so you guys know way better than me. I imagine they're just stuck with Wilson, right?
Yeah, for the time being, for sure.
Yeah.
I think to answer your question somewhat, Kirk and Steven, I think you'll back me up. I think now it's just the offensive whisperer era, right? And that's what they're going for with Payton. They have to do something with their investment in Russell Wilson. And obviously with teams going in, McVay, Shanahan, McDaniel, teams are looking to get into whatever they can with this offensive mindset where it's like, we need this gold rush. We need this offensive guru genius. And that's where coaches are like, hey, we'll pay whatever we need because that's how you compete in this league. So that's why I think salaries are so over the top and teams are willing to part with such capital. So that's where we're at.
Yeah, and it's worked out before. I mean, the Bucs traded a first-round pick and more for John Gruden back in the day, and he won a Super Bowl. Now, is Denver ready to take that next step? I mean, they're in a really hard division. They're with Mahomes and Justin Herbert. Who knows what the Raiders are going to do, really? But that's going to be a bit of an uphill climb, and there's a lot of pressure because Denver has guys on defense and a legitimately very good defense. So,
but they got weapons too, man.
To win now, but they kind of are.
But Sutton, Judy, that's a good wide receiver core. That, I think could be turned around a little faster than people think. I'll say that, but we'll see. Next topic here. Ozzy Osbourne announces that he will be retiring from touring. He's 74 years old. He says that his voice is still okay, but that he's just physically sore. He just physically can't do it anymore. It stems from an ATV accident that has required multiple spinal surgeries. He also has Parkinson's. Kirk, Ozzy guy, you sad? Did you ever see him? Thoughts on Ozzy retiring?
Not huge. That's not my world, but it is weird to see now. I remember, so I'm 48, and it was a big deal 30 years ago when the Stones were touring in their 40s. It was a joke. It was one of these, because rock music and heavy metal was all new. It's all new. These guys are all, and now Springsteen's world tour. I'm a huge Springsteen fan. His world tour starts tonight. He's 73. McCartney's touring. I'm starting to wonder, are these guys just going to tour when they're 92 years old? Is McCartney just going to do shows when he's 94? When does it stop? It's unusual. Now, do I think Ozzy Osbourne might tour in 3 years? Yeah, maybe. I mean, who knows? But at some point, these guys, this first generation of rock, which continues still to go on, has to end. But that also being said, there's not a lot of people out there. Now, I know there are younger people, obviously Taylor Swift and even Bad Bunny had a huge tour, but not a lot of people left who can still sell out 70,000 seat football arenas in the summer. And Springsteen, U2, the Eagles, there's still some of the groups that can do it. The Stones. So it's a weird time in music where you're going to start seeing these people fall off. And I think Ozzy's one of the first ones.
Mm-hmm.
How do you know who Bad Bunny is, Kirk? I just found out it was last week.
That's a Harry Minahan, my son, WWE connection. He was a wrestler in the WWE. I couldn't tell you a song. I couldn't tell you if it was a band. I just found out the weekend. I thought the weekend was a band like a week ago. Like
I mean, he performed at a Super Bowl. Come on.
I didn't even know. I had no idea. I don't think I watched the last Super Bowl, so I don't even know.
What time do you go to bed, Kirk?
For me, if I can fall asleep before 10 o'clock, it's a win. And I'm up at like 4:30.
Oh, damn.
Doing what?
What do you mean? I run every morning. I run, I do the show, I read, I do my thing. I don't know. What time do you got? You have kids. You have little kids, right?
Yeah. I mean, I wake up at about 6:45.
You get up when they get up?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's okay. Yeah. I mean, what time do you go to bed?
Midnight, 1 o'clock sometimes.
Okay.
Whenever the NBA grind stops, Kirk.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah. But for Ozzy, I mean, like when I was a kid, again, you would hear stories like this is the guy who, bit a fucking bat's head off, or this is a guy who did this or who did that. And then for generationally, and I don't know where you guys are on this, Eddie, but like then he became this massive like phenomenon. The Osbournes was insane. Like on MTV, people like 18 million people a week were watching on MTV like live. It was crazy. He's had a wild like 5 careers within one.
Dude, that was early 2000s too. So we're talking that he's still going in 2022, 2023. That's pretty impressive.
Amazing.
It really is. I mean, these people, like, we're talking like NBA is the big hot topic right now with load management and how these guys, like, nobody plays 82 games anymore. It's pretty amazing that these guys are still touring. And I know, listen, it's a completely different thing. They're, private planes, beautiful tour buses, but still, these fuckers put tolls on their bodies. And I don't know. It is crazy how they're singing well into their 70s. So,
and Ozzy, literally, like, if you read stuff about them, his old band, like, he put every substance in his body that's ever been, like, he lived like a madman. Like I mean, you saw him at the Osbournes. At that point, he was, right. He would have been like my age, just about when the Osbournes was out. So, I mean, it's crazy. It's absolutely insane.
It is.
Hand up. I just kind of assumed he was dead, and I watched the Osbournes. So based on that state, whatever, 23 years later, I had no clue he was alive. So good for him.
Yeah. So, I mean, speaking of that, I should have mentioned Tom Brady. I mean, all eyes are on LeBron now, right? Speaking of retirements.
Well, he's going to pass the points record next week.
Yeah, I know that's coming. But, like, I mean, what? How many years left?
He's trying to play with his kid. So probably 2.
But the window's closing, and that's going to be interesting.
Next topic. Doubles at MSG.
Yeah, we'll see. Next topic here. Looks like there might be an inside job situation at the Dallas Zoo. Foul play is expected. A couple monkeys were recovered in an abandoned home. There was a panther, I think, broke out. They found like a cutout, a little cut in the cage. There's a bunch of weird shit going on. They have surveillance of someone walking around. They're asking if people know who this man is. Stephen, what do you got on the Dallas Zoo situation?
I'm a huge zoo guy. I probably go to the zoo about 30 times a year.
Okay. All right. Okay. I thought you meant solo. I get you. Okay. Yeah.
No. It's a great place to take kids and just kind of, I went this past Sunday before the football games, took my kids, saw the Lions, went on the playground a little bit. But the zoo is a safe haven designed for families and exclusively families. If you're going to the zoo by yourself and you're over the age of 16, you're a weirdo. Get out of there. That's not the place for you. It's a place for little kids' wonder and imagination to go wild. For someone to have like cut animals out of there or let them out is terrifying. Because you're right up next to the glass or the cage or whatever, and you have a lion or a panther or a jaguar, whatever, like less than a foot from you. If any of that structure is messed with, you're potentially endangering like dozens, if not like hundreds of lives. So I am very worried as a regular zoo goer that this could potentially pick up steam and become a fad.
Yeah. You know, what's funny is as my daughter's gotten older, she's very into animals. She wants to be a veterinarian. My daughter Kate's still in high school. I'm like now an anti-zoo guy because I do see what it is. Like they are like completely.
Yeah, it's not a great quality of life.
It is not, and I'm not a big animal person, but it does kind of creep me out. And the idea that Stephen Cheah is making 70, 80 appearances a year at the zoo I don't think his kids want to go that much. I'm concerned. I'm starting to get a little. You're just going there as any father of young kids know. You're just there just to kill a couple of hours, just to get to the next thing. And that is a young parent's job. Get me to lunch, get me the nap time, get me the bedtime, and we do it again tomorrow. That's all it is, right?
Yep. Yeah. Tire them out, get them excited about a lion, and we're home and we did an activity for the day.
Well done. Yeah.
Yeah, but if this guy's doing this, I don't think he like wants to see the world burn. He's probably just an activist that
for sure.
Yeah, he saw blackfish and then he's like, wait, why are we only caring about the ones in the water? It's time to move it over to the ones that are on land, right?
Is this affected like the zoo? I just saw Animal Kingdom, I think, is closing down. They say at Disney World. Is this like a thing now where people are going to is this message getting out that people are going to the zoo less and less, or
zoos are still bumping?
They're still going strong. Yeah.
But you know what I mean, though? Did you see blackfish, Kirk?
Yes. Oh, yeah. It was fucked up.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy how that hasn't followed zoos, right?
Yeah, but I mean, so I don't know, Steve. You're there. Like, are these? Can you tell these? I mean, you spend a tremendous amount of time at the zoos. Do they seem like they're like heavily tranquilized, all these animals, or?
No, I wouldn't say that. I think for the most part they look normal. There's the one jaguar at the zoo I go to that is always kind of pacing around the glass and looks kind of messed up. But outside of that guy, they seem pretty normal. I think with the blackfish, I also saw that. I think it's a little bit different because whales are so big and the pools and stuff they live in are so small. Other animals typically they have pretty big habitats. They do have some rooms, like it's obviously not like the Great Plains or the Sahara Desert or something like that. But they do have room to kind of walk around, and it's not like living in a New York City studio apartment. But with blackfish, if I'm being honest, one of my greatest fears in life is whales. If I ever, I used to snorkel, not a lot, but like whenever I went on vacation, and if I ever see a fish that is what I would deem in my mind is too big, I get terrified. So if I was ever in the open waters and saw a whale, I would die instantly of a heart attack.
I totally get that. Like when I run now, tell me if this is rational or not. I have a tremendous fear of deer because they're so dumb. When I'm running and I see a deer, I sprint the other way because I'm like, is this thing going to run at me like it runs at a car? Is it going to kick me? Is it going to? So I the same thing. I am legitimately frightened, like frightened. I shriek and run away.
Yes, agreed. There was in where I live, there are deer once in a while, and I was mowing the lawn a few years ago, and there was a deer in the yard next to me, and there's no fences. And typically, you're supposed to like walk up to deer, approach them, and they'll run away. Mm-hmm. I don't want to say threatened, but I tilted the lawnmower back and kind of made a noise at it. And the thing lowered its head at me and just kind of stared at me. And I was like, all right, I'm out. So I just left the lawn and left the mower and went inside until it went away. And ever since then, whenever I'm within eyesight of a deer, I'm out because I know that they are about that action.
Don't piss off the deer. All right, last topic here. The internet's upset about the show Milf Manor. So it's a TLC show where they brought a bunch of MILFs to meet single young guys. And apparently the twist was that it was guys and their moms. So they matched them up with obviously not their sons, but like they're finding love with their mom on the same show. They did like a skit where they had blindfolds on. They had to feel the bodies of the young men and tell which one was their son. We could roll the TikTok. Kirk, what do you got on this?
Well, I heard you talking about in the emails and before the show that Steve's a MILF guy. I'm a MILF guy before the term was originated. I've been masturbating to MILFs, over now different parts of 2 centuries. So, and the thing for me was I'm talking like magazines. I remember I would get these magazines called 50 or 60 plus, which was naked women when I was a teenager in their 50s and 60s, huge bush, older women. And I used to hide them. I think of these women now. These women now are almost 100 years old. They were in their 50s and their 60s in the 80s and 90s. So we have a Milf Manor caller on the show. He gives us an update for the program. It's first of all, it's on the Learning Channel. So I'm glad everyone's learning about this, sort of the anatomy and stuff. But like, I'm okay with it. Like, look, if everybody's on board, if everybody's signing up, I don't know, like, is the mom like grabbing the kid's like penis? Are we going that?
No, just the body, just like the shoulders.
Yeah, if you're doing a show called Milf Manor, to me, you can't go 6 out of 10, 7 out of 10. You got to go 10 out of 10. I'm not saying I want the mom and the son banging each other, but I think we got to go as close to the edge as we can if we're on a show called Milf Manor. You got to go in, I think.
Yeah, draw the line at the incest.
I feel like that's reasonable. Yeah,
I agree.
First of all, if you're going 50, 60 plus, that is outside of the MILF territory. You're in the GILF/mature territory.
A 50. No. A 52-year-old can be a MILF. Now, the problem I'm having, Steve, is now as I get older, from a masturbatory perspective, I am now older than the MILFs I'm masturbating to. So now, but now when I do it though, when I'm sitting there with the pants down the ankles, which I'll be doing in some hotel in Arizona next week, God knows, watching some video at 11:30 at night. I'll be pretending still that I'm 18 years old, and it's like the last gasp of youth for me. I still get into character like that, but at the same time, this woman's probably fucking 36 years old. It's a deeply unsettling prospect for me going forward as a masturbator.
Yeah, reality is kind of broken. It's tough to.
It is. But is MILF Manor going to make it? Like, is this going to get canceled? Are people really getting upset? Is it?
So probably not. It's like the whole Mr. Beast thing, I assume, right? I don't know if you followed that story.
Yeah, with the blind thing, or
yeah.
Like,
are people really mad, or is it just a couple people?
I think the issue with this show is that they brought a mom and her son on a show, and they didn't know it was a dating show. So that makes it kind of weird. I feel like for all those shows like Love is Blind or The Bachelor or whatever, like people know what they're signing up for you to just be unexpectedly very horny and then on TV is a tough look, especially, like you said, Kirk, for TLC, the learning channel. But obviously, sex sells, and I think this is going to get ratings. I don't feel great about it, even as a MILF guy, but I'm not going to say I'm not watching.
What do you think these people thought they were going on? It's like, I'm sure the call was for like attractive moms. Like, what do you think they thought they were? These people, I've seen people on the show. I don't think they ever thought they were going on some thoughtful, panel show about the history of conservatism in 1950s America.
Yeah. So what if you're going to get horny in front of your moms for another girl? Like, that's still weird, right? Like, if it wasn't for like that, I don't know. That doesn't make sense. I agree with you. It's not.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't seen that. I will say now, though, I watched because once I saw the title, I was like, I'm in. I watched the first 5 minutes. The people were so stupid. These moms were so vapid. And they were sitting around just talking about nothing. I bailed. I was like, I can't do it. Now I feel like I have to go back and they're starting to lure me back in. I don't know.
Yeah.
You didn't think the MILFs on a reality show about being MILFs wouldn't be vapid?
Well, but I just thought it would be, I don't really know what I expected, but I knew the twist because they kept teasing this twist. And I was like, well, the twist is obviously is their sons, but I was like, how is this going to work? And now I know they're feeling up. Also, I don't know, like my mom's dead. So I don't know, but if you lined up me, you, Eddie, I'm looking at Dave Cullinane, brought my mom back to life and blindfolded her, like, I don't think she would know it was me. I don't think she would pass that test.
I don't really want to think about that.
What's the show? This is the topic. I don't know. Would Mama Che know that? I don't know.
I don't know. Gross.
Well, what are we talking about? Is that not the topic?
Hey, but
talk about fucking Sean Payton.
I mean, listen.
What are we talking about?
We're talking about you fucking TLC thinking you're an 18-year-old.
I mean, it's all vapid now, man. They all know like what's going on now. It's all like, if this show back in the day, it would have ruled because they wouldn't have known what they're going for. Now, like, they kind of know what kind of drama will concoct, like being able to like put up TikTok clips and shit like this. So it's all kind of just trash now, unfortunately. But
I will say the last thing I'll say about is we have Milf Manor caller every week, and he told us last week's episode, a mom hooked up with a mom became good friends with another mom on the show, best friends. If I'm getting this incorrectly, I apologize to the creators of Milf Manor. So
I've seen this story before.
Okay, yeah, so the mom becomes friends with the other mom, and then that woman bangs her best friend's son, and then rushed and told the mom about the size of the son's penis. That, to me, I feel like that's just the kind of stuff that when television was invented that we were here for, not the Kennedy assassination or landing on the moon. It's time to hear about some son's penis on Milf Manor. I think it's time.
That's kind of good.
Yeah.
That's kind of good. But you've also don't you have a feud with a famous MILF adult film star? Or is that...
Yeah, it's all my feuds in the past, I can pinpoint and say I did this wrong or this person did this wrong. Brandy Love, who I'm sure you know, Steve, was on our show for a while. She was sort of the porn star of the Kirk-Minihane show. Super conservative, fine. I don't care. I'm down the middle. We were trying to get Bruce Springsteen on the show. And I guess a bunch of my listeners reached out to her and said, "Oh, you have a bunch of followers, whatever." They were trying to get Bruce on the show. And she was like, "Fuck that. He's a big liberal. Fuck you." And she blocked everybody, me, everyone. And I made a point, although I broke it recently. I did not masturbate to her for way over a year. I did break eventually. But like, I don't know. It's like the great rival, like, obviously all the other ones I've had in the past, this one I can't figure out. We've been trying to find, we took a call today. We've been trying to find a porn star ever since, and we're still searching. No luck.
I think I may have misread an email, but I think Lisa Ann might be in the office today. So,
but she's like property of Barstool, like she's everybody somebody sort of new,
Mm-hmm.
But Lisa Ann's great. Yeah, she's great. But I'm just saying, I don't know. We'll see. We shall see.
The KMS MILF, you need that. That's the official KMS MILF.
Sure, we could use that. Why not?
You need that. All right, guys. That's the rundown. Hey, you guys, are you excited for Super Bowl, Kirk?
Yeah, I guess. Although I'm not really. I know I'm doing the mini. Steve, I assume you're playing the mini golf, right?
I don't think that I am. So
what? You're not playing it?
I would love to, but I think that they set the groups, and I don't believe them. I could be wrong, but on the initial email, I did not see myself listed in that. But I would love to play if there's an opening.
Oh, great. So yeah, so I have that, and I'm doing the trivia, like hosting the pre-show or something. And then that's about. I think I'm just doing the show. I don't really know what I'm doing out there other than that. As usual, nobody's told me anything. So I'll be there if anybody needs me to do anything. I'll be there.
Are you doing trivia with Nick and KB, or like the pre-show? Have you ever talked to Nick and KB?
Yeah, well, I was with them for a while pre-show in Boston. I'll see them around the office every once in a while. But we had a good, productive, like 386-minute conference call the other day about nothing, and they were both on it. So that was good. So I experienced that. There's never been a productive conference call in the history of civilization, by the way. Just tattoo that behind your fucking eyelids. It's never happened.
Well, we got another one tomorrow about the Super Bowl, so we'll see if that one's
good. Excellent.
Yeah. All right then. I'll see you guys next week.
All right, boys.
All right, that's it for the rundown. Thank you everybody for watching. Rundown's back tomorrow. See everybody then.